Okay, so welcome everyone. We are delighted to have you with us at Ada Global Academy. Our aim is to help and improve about 100 scholars annually. Today, we are honored to have one of our mentees, in the person of Mr. Olawale Olaniyan, who will be giving us tips that we need to understand about scholarship funding opportunities for graduate school applications. He is a first class graduate of statistics from the University of Ibadan, and he went to the US after that to pursue his master's degree through scholarship. And as we are talking now, he has also secured scholarship admissions for PhD, one or two admission scholarship funded for his PhD. He's still in the US, waiting to begin his PhD. We thought of bringing him so that he can share his testimonies, can share on his experience, how he went about it. So I'm going to be bringing some of these mentees as we move on, some of these great scholars among us as we move on. Presently, himself and I have finished one paper in collaboration with some other scholars from South Africa. So he's the right person to kickstart this. I thought of bringing him. This is just the tip of the iceberg. We're going to be having more workshops, webinars, courses, research programs as we move on, as we try to build our community. So if you know your friends that are interested in joining us, please bring them on board. So I want to bring Olawale now to talk to us. After that, I will be here to answer your questions. Tomorrow, we'll have some other discussions, and I want to encourage you to participate. Feel free to ask questions. Feel free to talk, but don't ask a question now until after he has presented. So please, Olawale Olaniyan, please take the floor.
Um, Thank you so much, Prof, for this the opportunity to share these things with people. Um, so basically, I'll be walking you through understanding scholarships or funding opportunities for graduate school applications. Uh, I want you to on, but then you have to be the one to decide to search for them. You have to be intentional to look for these scholarships. And let me put something straight. The term scholarship, you should be mindful of the usage of the word scholarship because it depends on where you are applying to. They might not use the word scholarship. They might use other terms. That's why you saw me in the presentation here. I have scholarships or funding opportunities. So even though you might not see the word scholarship, it could be other funding opportunities that is available. So don't just restrict yourself with the word scholarship. Scholarship can come in different forms. The bottom line of it is that you are looking for funding for your application. And also another time I want to buttress is the graduate school applications here. So generally, when you refer to graduate school application, you could be talking about application for programs like masters and PhD applications. Generally, that's the two that I want to actually refer to in this presentation. So then the question is, why pursue graduate studies? Now, generally, at times you can be satisfied with your undergraduate program, but there is also an advantage to uh, pursuing graduate studies. And part of the advantage is for you to advance your knowledge, right? Undergraduate program is generally applicable in different fields. However, for you to have a niche for yourself, you can pursue a graduate study like a master's or PhD. And you allow me my presentation or some things I'll be talking about will uh, tailor more in terms of and some things that will be helpful. At times, some of these things might be maybe applicable in some other countries. But one thing you must understand is that uh, when you have a general knowledge of scholarships, it can really help you in when you are submitting your applications. And some of these things are transferable. So even if it's not United States, if that is not your focus, you might be looking at places like United Kingdom, Australia, Germany, and the likes. But from my own understanding, where and I'm currently in the United States. So I understanding that you could explore other options. You could explore different countries for your graduate program. So you could also use the graduate studies for career advancement and for personal growth. So you should be able to answer your why for why you are pursuing graduate studies. Because as funny as it may seem to you, is graduate study is not for everybody, right? So it's not everybody that goes for graduate studies. But I would encourage you, if you still have the passion to learn, let that be your goal. So how do you identify funding opportunities? First and foremost, I want you to understand that anytime you are looking for the funding opportunities, because the mistake some people make at times is to apply for admission, and then after admission, they are not able to enroll, they are not able to start their program because from the outset they did not prepare to get funding. They were not on the lookout for how they can source funding. So, and that is why in this presentation, I'm going to talk about some of. Then, number one, you need to make a thorough research of this funding. Also, you need to connect, make network with other people, and also search for resources, online resources. Now, it's so good that we have Google there. And let me tell you, Google as it is engine that you can use to get a lot of resources and opportunities. You know, some people at times they look for somebody just to spoon feed them, to do everything for them. Whereas some of the resources they can actually look for them at the tip of their fingers. They can access Google on their phone or their laptops. So have it in mind that these funding opportunities, they are things you can get yourself without having to pay somebody to search for it yourself. That's why you should be self-motivated. You should be ready to give it the work and the effort it demands. And let me tell you, you might think maybe you are not brilliant enough. Don't think like that. If you can put in your best, you can actually get it. So when we talk about scholarships and fellowship, there are different types. We have the merit-based scholarship. They are awarded on academic excellence. If you're a type, you graduate a first class or a 2-1 second class upper, or maybe or other good grades. That is fine. But even if you do not, there are other options, other alternatives. So I don't want you to look at it that you did not make a first class, you did not make a 2-1, you did maybe other ways you can edge up. And one of the ways I want to mention is through research. I want to thank Prof for this initiative, for the mentorship, to help young scholars to be able to develop their research skills, right? Some of us, maybe during undergraduate, we did not really have the to research. We did not have the research skills. Maybe we did project, but it wasn't really research intensive in the proper sense for you to bridge that gap. So if you're a type that maybe you do not have the edge of having a good academic grade, you think you can as well do is what we call WES evaluation, right? So WES stands for World Educational Service, either of the two. So what WES does is that they evaluate your transcripts. So the thing is, in Nigeria, we have many different ways our CGPAs are being calculated based on your university. For instance, in my own case, in the University of Ibadan, we use 7-point scale, 7.0 scale. So although I know it has been changed, but maybe in some other universities, you might have 5.0, 4.0. So what the West evaluation does is that it makes your grade, it makes it to have the US equivalent. And as well, it helps you to, at times, or let me say usually, it shoots up your CGPA by the time they are done with evaluation in many cases. So just have that in mind that you could document your grade with a West evaluation. Have that in mind. So scholarship, they are specialized, they are designed for specific fields, demographics, or research interests. So I'm going to go to the next slide. And I'm going to be talking about research assistantships. Thing I want you to understand is for you to do a graduate program, specifically, I want to, maybe you might not know, or maybe you know, if you graduate from your undergrad, if you like, you can go ahead with a master's, but it's not compulsory, especially institutions in US. When they give you admission, you can be admitted into the PhD programs directly without having to undergo a master's program. And the way it works is that when they give you the PhD admission, what they do is that in the process of you doing your PhD, you can as well earn your master's alongside. So let's say your PhD is 5 years. Let's say in the first 2 years you can have your master's, and then you just do your PhD just like that. So it is very much possible that if you are looking for funding opportunities to target PhD admission, because usually PhDs are more funded than masters. They are ready to invest more on you because with PhD, you have more time to spend with them than with masters. So have that at the back of your mind. If you want to shoot in your applications, make sure you target a PhD, or you can as well target masters too, but preferably PhD, because masters, their programs are fund masters too. So it's not as if you may not see masters funded, but PhD is more guaranteed in a sense than the master. Try as much as possible to look for the fall semester. So when we talk about fall semester, so we have the spring semester, we have summer, we have fall. Usually funding are mostly available in the fall and September. So if you want to, if let's say for the fall of this year, you should have started application, even as at last year fall. So, and when we talk about research assistantship, so let me talk about that. So research assistantship is for you to assist faculty members with research projects, gain valuable experience in your field of study. So research assistant is for you to work with a faculty member, right? In Nigerian terms, we use lecturer. Here, they use terms like professor or faculty. So when you hear me saying faculty, I'm referring to lecturer that you are used to. So in that case, you are working with a lecturer or a faculty member. And what they do is that if the faculty has a grant, they can be paying you, they can be funding you, which you call stipend. So the funding can come with tuition. Mostly it comes with tuition waiver so that you don't have to pay tuition. So that means you don't pay tuition, and also they are paying you to work with the professor. So you are working with the professor on a particular research or different research that the professor might bring up for you to work on. And one of the ways you could get this research assistantship is through cold email, right? Cold email is basically you researching your school, right? Researching your school and your program. Be definite on your school and the program you're interested in. And then you look for your the department, that department that hosts the program. Then you go to the faculty section, you look for the faculty, that has interest that aligns with yours. So what you do is that you get their email, then you send them an email, you craft a good email, uh, uh, talking to them about yourself, telling them why you are interested, and inquiring on them about any available research assistantship they might have. And also you can use that to schedule a meeting with them to get to know how you can pick it up from there. And through that, you can get a professor that is interested in working with you. Another option is teaching assistantship. So teaching assistantship is actually to support professors with teaching duties. You own your pedagogical skills, your teaching skills. Through teaching assistantship, you can work with a department. You can teach undergraduate programs. They can assign you to teach, let's say, some courses, and in that case, you can grade, and that also comes with stipend. So some of this information, you can get them on your school website. You can check them available teaching assistantship that they have. And at times, usually when you submit your application, the school might consider your application directly with the funding, so that you might not have to do a separate application for the assistantship. However, to get the research assistantship, it is very much advisable for you to reach out to the professor you are interested in working in. And that is a good way, a good approach to get your funding. Also, other ways you can get funding for your program is through grants and loans. However, even though you have it here, personally myself, I do not subscribe to loans, right? The loan is that they provide a financial assistance which you would have to pay back, right? So, and it's not a guarantee that immediately you graduate, you will get a job immediately to pay back. So that is not advisable. There are other ways you could find funding. You could get it through grants, right? So there are various organizations that can provide grants, and through that you could fund your and so there are different scholarships out there, like the Chevening Scholarship and the other ones, Erasmus Mundus and the likes. So these ways, you can as well fund your educational program. So there are also different platforms that you can look up. And like I said, Google is a good search engine. You could just put in your query there, and it's going to give you different options. So also, another thing you should take note is for you to craft a compelling application, right? You should first tailor your application, research each program thoroughly, and personalize your essays. So if you are going to submit your application, you need something like what we call personal statement or your statement of purpose, right? Where you are going to talk about why you are interested in the program, and the professors that are interested in working in, and your background, how it suits the program, and what you would like to work in if you eventually get admitted to the program, and the likes. So this aspect of the application, it has its own techniques for applying. So you could also highlight your strength and also seek feedback. So when you write your statement of purpose, have someone you could send it to help you review the statement of purpose and give you recommendation of what you can do to improve on your statement of purpose. So I will be concluding by also funding is of essence. Now, a lot of things are involved in getting the scholarship, the funding that you're looking for. For instance, your school might require you to submit GRE. And to do your GRE, it might take some months for you to pay. Why timing is of the ahead. So if you want to take your GRE is graduate records examination, you must have start preparation. Right, you must have start preparation. So, and also another thing you need to get is recommendation letters. Right, in this part of the world, recommendation letters is important. You need to make sure that please, let's keep mute. Thank you. So you need to make sure that you are able to inform your recommendation letter writers, right, your referees, where you graduated from, or if you are still in school, if you are yet to graduate, begin to build a good relationship with your lecturers, so that by the time you need them, you will be able to reach out to them and request their support with recommendation letters. So it's very important. So because some people, by the time they graduate, they just forget it all. No, build relationship with your referee, so that by the time you want to reach out to them, you can reach out to them and request for their support and request their support with recommendation letters. So also, I want to just give a personal experience of my own of myself. So I have been applying to graduate recently. Although by now I have one PhD application already to biostatistics program at the University of South Carolina in the United States. Although I have other schools, so I'm still expecting feedback from them. But then that did not just happen just like that. I want you to understand that it took preparation. For instance, I did West evaluation. For my program specifically, there is a platform called SOFAS. So that SOFAS platform is tailored for public health program. So yours might not be public health, yours might be engineering, yours might be finance, yours might be different other aspects, IT and the likes. But the bottom line is that you should be familiar with the application platform that you will need. So in your own case, you might need to apply to the school directly, right? So if you are not clear with some things in the application review or maybe application requirement, you can reach out to the program coordinator and make inquiry. You can send an email to them asking about some things you are not clear about the application requirement, and then they can assist you and guide you. So also another thing that you need to know is that usually when you submit application, you need to pay application fee. Although there are exceptions in terms of provision for fee waivers, so you could get fee waivers by requesting, and if the school decide to grant you, then that will be fine. You can just use the fee waiver to get to be able to submit your application. However, what the point I'm making is that funding opportunities are available, but you need to do the work to research those funding opportunities. And let me add this to it. Don't be moved by the name of a school. You know, some people, the schools they know is that they want to go to Harvard. What they want is that they want to go to Yale. They want to go to these high schools, Ivy League schools. The bottom line is that it's not, yes, if you get admitted to those schools, that's pretty good. That is fine. But don't just put all your eggs in that basket and say you must attend Ivy League schools. There are other schools that you might not maybe have heard of their names, but they have funding, right? So it's very important that before you set out on your graduate school application, you settle funding first. Reach out to the program coordinator. Do they have funding opportunities? Reach out to faculty. Do they have funding opportunities? It's because you don't want a case whereby they give you admission, but you don't have the money. Well, except if maybe you come from a well-to-do family and your parent they can actually finance you, right? But as far as I know, generally speaking, the education, especially in US, is expensive, and funding will really help you in succeeding in your academics. So I want you to have at the back of your mind, prepare yourself very well and adequately to research for these scholarships and these funding opportunities. I'm going to put a stop to it at this point. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Wally. Let's appreciate him.